Good evening. Welcome to Soapbox Tonight, your backstage pass to the future, whether it's the kind we dream about or the kind we definitely didn't ask for. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride tonight. Let's kick things off downtown with Elon Musk, the man who never met a planet he didn't want to colonize or a problem he didn't want to robot solve. He's been hinting about flying Teslas, yes, hovering cars, because gridlock is so last century. And if that's not futuristic enough for you, he's pushing humanoid robots to perform surgery. In 5 years, he says they'll be better than the best human surgeons. A precision scalpel wielding bot with kung fu dexterity and questionable bedside manner. And sure, it's wild, but I love that we live in a world where someone dreams like this. Without that audacity, we'd never have smartphones, rockets, or AI writing bedtime stories. Now, we also have Michelle Obama recently told a crowd she won't run for president, saying, in effect, the US still isn't ready for a woman president. Here's my first thought. Thank God. Another Obama administration? No, thank you. She says we're not ready, and maybe she's right. But from here, it's hard to tell if she's talking about America's political system, the electorate, or just the fact that some people would never be satisfied no matter who's in office. Either way, some ambitions are just too big for the moment. And speaking of ambitions gone rogue, let's talk about the AI-powered teddy bear Kuma, recently pulled from shelves because it allegedly started giving kids wildly inappropriate advice. Everything from how to light matches to sexually explicit role play scenarios. Parents are horrified. Manufacturers launching a safety audit. Humans still not quite ready for AI stuffed animals that talk back. A perfect storm of ambition and unpreparedness in cuddly disguise. And if you think the wildest stories tonight are about tech billionaires or AI teddy bears, think again. Reality can be far less cute and far more dangerous. July 4th in Texas? Not fireworks, gunfire, ambush, federal agents in the line of fire. The Department of Justice just handed down an enlarged indictment in the Prairieland ICE detention center case. More charges, more defendants, more evidence that some self-proclaimed Antifa radicals turned a July 4th protest into an ambush. Why bring up a summer shootout in November? Because the courts are finally catching up and the consequences are real. Who's behind this? Benjamin Hanil Song allegedly led the attack, buying the firearms, coordinating the hit, thinking encrypted messages would keep him safe off the radar. Then there's Autumn Hill, aka Cameron Arnold, and Zachary Evans, right in the thick of it. Over a dozen others indicted, some for direct action, others for logistical support. Weapons and gear stashed in what prosecutors called their commune. Not a backyard barbecue, organized, planned, targeted at federal officers. The evidence here speaks louder than the words. Surveillance shows them positioned outside the detention center, body armor, rifles, tactical vests, and yes, fireworks, definitely not the fun kind. Encrypted signal messages make their intentions clear. I'm done with peaceful protesting, quote unquote, and we strike tonight, quote unquote. Gunshot residue confirms some actually fired. This isn't speculation. Federal officers were targeted and the intent was documented in writing. The Department of Justice is charging attempted murder, firearm offenses during a crime of violence, explosives, and even material support for terrorists. This is about actions, not ideology. Antifa here is just a banner. Words don't excuse bullets. Defense will say they were just protesting. Except guns, tactical planning, pre-positioning, encrypted chats show premeditation, not civic engagement. Criminal conspiracy. This isn't just one in Texas, one single attack. It's part of a worrying trend. Violent cells operating under ideological banners let law enforcement falter, and it signals violence against federal officers is consequence free. These prosecutions are critical. Ideology is no free pass. Accountability is essential. Federal agents were ambushed, targeted, threatened. The DOJ is stepping up, indictments, charges, the whole 9 yards. Ideology doesn't grant immunity. Accountability is coming, and that's exactly how it should be. These aren't abstract debates. Bullets, tactical gear, and premeditated attacks are real. Defending the rule of law isn't optional, it's essential. And now let's step back and look at ambition and leverage on the global stage. Trump is back in the Middle East spotlight, pushing Saudi Arabia's crown prince, MBS, to finally recognize Israel. Bold, transactional, headline grabbing. Saudi Arabia claims they need Palestinian progress first. Reality check. Israel has reportedly offered real solutions time and time again. Look at Camp David in the year 2000. Or the Gaza disengagement in 2005. Palestinians walked away or Hamas seized control. Waiting for the perfect Palestinian progress is a mirage. Recognition comes first. The rest can then be negotiated. Middle East diplomacy historically has been slow, ceremonial, and full of empty gestures. Trump, he cut straight to leverage. The Abraham Accords, Qatar blockade resolution, deals done pragmatically. MBS balances modernization, public opinion, religious conservatives, pressure to appear principled on Palestine, but today's Palestinian leadership isn't negotiating in good faith. One state solution pushes Israel's elimination. Trump leverages U.S. security guarantees, arm deals, strategic incentives, all without compromising Israel's military edge. Pragmatic diplomacy, not handshake theater. If Saudi Arabia recognizes Israel, ripple effects can be massive. Neighboring states recalibrated. U.S. and Israel at strategic center. Tech, cybersecurity, defense innovations meet Saudi energy and capital. Billions in trade, collaboration, and security coordination. This isn't a handshake for the cameras. There are tangible payoffs. Neighboring states' faces, priceless. Trump is talking bold, principled, transactional steps. Saudi recognition first, everything else second. Waiting for perfect alignment? Well, that's just fantasy diplomacy. All right, now before we get to talking about those $2,000 checks, yes, we will get there, let's talk about tariffs. Because if you trust the headlines, you're completely lost. They say Trump failed, tariffs flopped. Yeah, sure. Here's the real deal. The administration rolled out a blanket set of tariffs, beef, coffee, tropical fruits, you name it. Politically, it was a tough sell. Protect American industry. Economically, some of these goods can't be grown here. Coffee, bananas, tropical fruits, no U.S. farm is beating Ecuador on bananas, and yet tariffs hit anyway. Meaning you pay more for things you can't even grow at home. So now what? Selective rollbacks are happening. Coffee, bananas, tropical fruits. Translation? We'll protect what we can and ease the pain where tariffs make less sense. And no, to be clear, this isn't flip-flopping. This is fine-tuning. Blanket policy first, targeted adjustments second. Protect producers where feasible, let consumers breathe where it doesn't make sense. Lower tariffs equal lower prices at the grocery store. Your coffee cup won't cost an arm and a leg. Steak night, still doable. And money saved, that's the same cash the $2,000 checks are going to tap into. Putting dollars back where they belong, in your hands. And again, before we get to those checks, let's talk about reality. The headlines are going to scream, tariffs failed, $2,000 checks are reckless. This is all clickbait. Reality lands in your wallet. on store shelves, and in your coffee cup. That's where policy matters, not cable news editorials. When you step back, intentional, targeted decisions designed to empower Americans. And now the juicy part, $2,000 checks. Imagine the government hands you cash and says, you decide. No lectures, no restrictions. You want to buy groceries? Sure. Pay down your debt? Absolutely. Save for a rainy day? Go nuts. That, my friends, is freedom in action. Libertarian? Check. Conservative? Check. Minimal government? Maximum responsibility? American? Absolutely. Don't take just my word for it. Look at Alaska's permanent fund dividend. Critics warned people would blow the money on nonsense. Really? Bills paid, savings stacked, investments made, calm, responsible. We see the same story in Alberta. Give people cash, let them decide, and more often than not, they do the right thing. Even if you don't pay off debt immediately, as long as you don't add more, your household isn't worse off. That's the magic of letting individuals make rational choices with their own money. Direct democracy at a micro level. Your wallet, your vote. Now, some pundits are going to be screaming deficits, inflation, disaster. Sure, okay, but reality? Americans will be empowered. Households strengthened. Liberty wins every time. And if someone tells you otherwise, tell them to write you a $2,000 check. All right, everyone, buckle up. We're talking about Michigan. Yes, Michigan. The state that's given us everything from bizarre local politics to debates over whether a city council meeting counts as performance art. And now, drumroll, Sets Ed is opt-out. Let's translate bureaucrat speak. Your kids are automatically enrolled in lessons about sexuality, identity, consent, and personal boundaries, unless you, the parent, get organized enough to fill out a form, return it in time, and hope it doesn't disappear into the bookback black hole that swallows everything from library books to last week's lunch money. Here's the kicker. Opt-out is not consent. Opt-in, on the other hand, says, parents, you're in charge. Sign here if you want your child to participate. Opt-out, on the other hand, says, we already decided for you. You've got to protest loudly enough to get your kid back. Think about it. Schools require written permission for a single Tylenol, a Band-Aid, a field trip, maybe even a popsicle on field day. But a week-long lesson on reproduction, identity, and personal safety? Auto-enroll. If the goal is good, important education, why are we tiptoeing around asking for permission? Are we worried parents might gasp, say no? And then there's the kid. Opt-out doesn't just bypass parents, it punishes kids societally. And to be clear, opt-out is not a shield. It's a thin curtain at best. Let's expand the view. Michigan is the news hook, but this is a national tug of war. In Maryland, the Supreme Court ruled parents can opt their kids out of LGBTQ storybooks. Well, la-di-da, I guess that's a victory for parental authority. In Ohio and Texas, bills require parental consent for sex ed, health services, and gender identity politics. There we see parents back in the driver's seat, or at least not trapped in the trunk. In Massachusetts, the district tried handing out sexually explicitly surveys to minors, ignoring opt-outs. Cue chaos, parental outrage, and the Department of Education sniffing around like a disappointed hallmond. In California, students' gender identity can remain private, even from parents. Fireworks, some cheer, while others, rightly so, clutch their pearls. Everywhere you look, the debate comes down to one question. Who is raising your kids? Is it you or is it the government? Now let's get illustrative. Imagine a kid named Sam, and Sam's parents say, nope, not yet. Sam walks out of the class. 10 minutes later, he comes home. Everyone stared at me. Jenny asked why I'm missing class. Mr. Wilson winked and said I must be special. Did the parents opt out protect Sam? No, it just made Sam's life socially interesting, the kind of interesting no kid wants. Here's the absurdity. Schools are terrified of asking parents for permission. Why? Consent implies parents have authority. Some bureaucrats apparently have performance anxiety around parents. Meanwhile, in a logic-defying twist, the same schools will never give Tylenol without a note. One acetaminophen? Signature required. Multi-day sex ed lesson? Auto-enroll. If a curriculum is important, age-appropriate, and beneficial as proponents claim, why is asking for permission such a problem? That's the secret fear, that parents might actually be paying attention. And this isn't just Michigan. It's nationwide. Parents have to fight to reclaim oversight. Schools argue efficiency or inclusivity. Kids are stuck sitting in the middle, learning more about social strategy than biology. At the end of the day, this isn't just sex ed. It's authority. It's trust. It's about whether parents are spectators while the state runs the show. Michigan gives us the headline, the hook, the conversation starter, but the bigger issue is clear. If institutions decide by default, government bureaucracy is raising our kids by stealth. And that is a conversation worth having. Loudly, clearly, and with a little sarcasm on the side. All right, everyone, it's that time of week again. It's time for your headline roundup, brought to you as always by BB's Pager Emporium, home of the explosive good deals. Now strap in because the news this week is a wild ride. First off, in Canada, we have a man who steals a bus and actually drives it like he works there. Over in Hamilton, a man allegedly hopped onto an unattended city bus, drove the normal route, stopped for passengers, and even checked fares. The police quietly followed, no sirens, no chase, and the man was arrested without incident. No injuries, no damage, just pure unintentional comedy on wheels. And our take here at Soapbox Tonight, only in Canada could a bus hijacker act like an honest driver and still end up in cuffs. Makes you wonder who's really running public transit sometimes. Our next headline, the U.S. economy is under strain. The shutdown fallout is still continuing to linger with worries. The 43-day government shutdown is officially over, but economists warn the fallout is not done. Growth is slowing, labor markets are cooling, and uncertainty lingers. Consumer sentiment is near 3-year lows. People are stressed about money and jobs, and markets are jittery. Relief rallies happen, but they're shaky. Our takeaway? Political dysfunction isn't just annoying. Apparently, it's leaving a scar on the economy that even caffeine and optimism can't fix. If we bring a note, I wonder if we can get a Tylenol. A little bit of an economic roundup for you. Americans are worried the Fed adjusts rates and the markets try to make sense of it all. The takeaways, the economy is a cocktail of stress, adjustment, and we'll see what happens next. Our take, if it feels like your wallet is holding its breath, it is. And it's holding its breath for Congress too. And finally, this just in, Trump floats a money for health idea. Trump's latest idea is to send ACA subsidy cash straight to Americans and let them buy whatever insurance they like. Freedom! Chaos! Wall Street insurers sweating. Democrats cautiously eyeing the exit. No bill yet, just big talk and bigger headlines. Our take here, looks like some more freedom in action with a side of suspense. And that's your headline roundup for the week, and also our show for this week. Be sure to join us next week. In the meantime, we'll try not to hijack your bus or crash your economy. Stay tuned, stay wise, and we'll catch you next time on Soapbox Tonight.